What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. Let me see if I could show this shirt off for the people watching on YouTube. Yeah, it's a brand new United shirt bought to me. It's a Christmas gift from my manager. It has my name on the back. Let me see. Let me just do if I could just do this. Can you see it, Neil?
Bend a little. Oh yeah, here we go. No, yeah, this is fine. Edward 7.
Yeah. So
United's new right back.
United's new right back. Y'all just signed me. It's on and popping. One Basaka Dalat, watch it back. You know what I'm saying? It's on.
Yeah.
So today on this episode, we're gonna be talking Arsenal getting it handed to them in the second half by a determined circle the wagons Man City. If they're gonna take our titles, they ain't gonna take this one because we're gonna run this to the end of the table. So Pep found the thing that he wanted, galvanized his team, siege mentality, and they're gonna be tough to beat from now on, I suspect. We're gonna talk about Man United versus Barca at the Nou Camp in the Europa League, the biggest Europa League game in recent history. And we're going to talk Chelsea versus, who did you play again? It's been so many games. Who did you play yesterday or the day before?
Played Borussia Dortmund.
Borussia Dortmund in Champions League, and Spurs in Champions League, and PSG versus Bayern in Champions League. And maybe we'll get to some of the upcoming games this weekend. But we have one of the usual suspects, Neil Chakravarty, stand-up comic, Chelsea fan. What's going on, man?
All good. Pretty exciting week. Lots of big matchups, lots of different competitions. And yeah, a lot of things have changed since last week.
Yeah. So leading up to Wednesday, and it's great that, you know, like some things happen for a reason. So Arsenal started off the season on fire, right? And in the middle of the season, before the middle of the season, we have the World Cup in a weird place in December. But also because the Queen died, it also changed the schedule up. So that when the schedule settles, there's a game midweek between Arsenal and Man City, who are both neck and neck at the top of the table. And this game determines who's going to be at the top of the table at this point in the season. So it's just, there's got to be some force that controls soccer to make this match, based on all the disturbances in the season schedule, happen. Like, there were no other games in the Premier League this Wednesday, and there were Champions League games, but there was this huge ass match for first place for this point of the season, like perfectly just placed there by everything that happened to put it there. And I watched the game, and it was a pretty amazing game, and I was it just delivered on all cylinders. And Arsenal started off the game like the way they start off most of their games, like at it. You know what I mean? Just at it. And they pressed, they attacked, but they couldn't get that clear opportunity. I mean, they had one with the header for Nketiah, but they didn't put it in the net. And so they had that. But, you know, in the second half, was that the second? Oh, the first half, like Jack Grealish pressing Tamayasu and making him make a bad back pass to the keeper, and De Bruyne jumping on it, put that ball in the back of the net. And then the equalizer from the penalty from Saka, and then I feel like all the goals were caused from pressure, all 4 goals, because you have the Tamayasu goal, and then the penalty, and Nketiah won that, but he won it after one of his teammates stole the ball or intercepted a pass from Rodri and passed it into him in the penalty box, and he ran into the space and got fouled after he tried the shot on Man City's keeper Edison. And then the other 2 goals that City scored were definitely like defender errors. Like in the second half, Man City decided we're going to press harder, we're going to bring more energy, we're going to match their energy and pass their energy. And a lot of people want to say the game changed for Man City when Akanji came in, but it changed before it even came in, and then Akanji being substituted in added to it. They took out Mahrez, they moved Bernardo Silva, and then, you know, like I said, even before that, there was like this extra smartness or streetwiseness about Man City. And Pep actually kind of went practical. Like, and it was that practicality, because at that point, Pep was like, I'll take this 1-1 draw up here. And Arteta's like, I'm home, I want to win this. So it kind of like, you know, Pep was willing to bend, and Arteta was like, they got to break me. And City broke them. And also, there's something Pep did that was a bit practical too, as far as like, Anderson, clear that ball out the back. Like, you're going to clear it like it's one of your long passes, but I don't care if it gets to anybody. Like, they're not going to just pressure us in the back and overturn us like this. And Arsenal was too determined to play the ball out the back, which has gotten to them to where they are now. So people can like question it, which some fans are, but that's who you are. You play the ball out the back. You've gotten some amazing goals from playing the ball out the back. And if you're going to be the team that plays the ball out the back, ultimately you want to be able to do it against anyone. And for the Arsenal fans who are mad at Pep, are mad at Arteta for continue to play the ball at the back, especially in a game like this, like there's going to be a point when nobody can stop you from playing the ball at the back. But you need games like this to make mistakes in, so you can improve upon that. You know, like I remember years ago when Arteta first got the job and he wanted to play the ball at the back, and they'd make mistakes and they'd give up goals, fans being mad. But now they love it up until yesterday. But this is who you are. So, you know, you want to be able to do it against anybody. This was a tougher opponent than most. They're the reigning champs. So, yeah, I'm sure the players from Arsenal learned something yesterday from their mistakes, and that's what you want. And another thing is Arsenal fans are so emotional because they haven't won in so long. So when you watch Arsenal fan TV, I knew this would happen where they're blaming Nketiah, and they blamed him for like 2 open chances that they feel that he missed, but none of them in their anger or their emotionality, like which is a word I think I just made up, like acknowledges that he's the one that won them the penalty to bring the game even. They just want to be upset that they lost. They're in fear of losing the league because they didn't believe they could win the league going into the season, but up until yesterday thought, hey, we could actually win this. And then yesterday's result is the first time that brought them crashing down to like this defeat that they felt for years towards the end of Wenger's reign up until now. So yeah, man, you're still in it. And I'll say something else afterwards about Arteta, which will give Arsenal fans hope. But like, how did you see this?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Like Pep, the way Pep was practical, he was, between Pep trying to be Antonio Conte and Arteta trying to be Pep, we got a hell of a game. Because I felt like before the game, because for me, like logically, the way I see title races in the Premier League for a long time, Arsenal had had a points lead over Man City, right? So I would have thought it would actually be Arteta and Arsenal who would be happy with the point,
Right.
especially when you got back to 1-1 and the game was, yeah, I mean, there were some chances, but there was a period in there where not a lot of was happening. But Arsenal again like went for it, which is great. Like, you know, that's the thing that has made Arsenal and this team under Arteta successful. So why shouldn't they back their strengths? But it's interesting to see like the guy who pretty much laid the template for that attitude, like Guardiola. He's like, you know, my team is gonna play this way no matter what, regardless of opponents. I remember that when he first came to the Premier League, his first season, there was a lot of, they barely made top 4, by the way. That was that insane Claudio Bravo goalkeeping season where he just, you know, they had a terrible defense that season. And there was a lot of criticism because there's also Guardiola first season in the Premier League, right? Like, so there's a lot of criticism about his players not tackling.
Right. They had Mangala, Otamendi, who ended up playing good under Pep, and like you said, Claudio Bravo. I don't know if they'd gotten rid of.
They had company, but he was like injured almost half the time.
And I don't know if was that the season they got rid of Joe Hart.
He got rid of Joe Hart right away.
Right away,
but the guy he bought was bad too. So
yeah.
But then he made this famous statement that I don't teach my players to tackle. We don't do any tackling. We don't do tackling in training. I'm probably paraphrasing. It's been a while since that statement, but he pretty much basically said, you know, this is the way I play. This is the way I've played in Spain. This is the way I've played in Germany, and this is gonna be the way I'm gonna play in England. And just deal with it. You know, your criticism really doesn't matter to me. And you know, he's made that count season after season. Like more than what, he's like 7th year now, maybe. So the fact that he actually chose to be practical in a game of this magnitude and you know, gave the ball away, was comfortable, you know, giving possession away, and it made for a great contrast in styles, which I was not expecting before the game. I thought it was going to be literally, you know, two teams going at each other, bang, 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 bang. But I think the contrasting styles were great. As you said, like mistakes, right? Like the mistake from Edison, the mistake from Tomiyasu, the mistake from Gabriel. The critical points of the game were decided by mistakes. And maybe that's a little to do with the fact that this Arsenal team, no matter where they're in the table, they're still a very inexperienced team. So, you know, maybe this is the kind of game where that shows up. And the stakes of it, the fact that they've actually not won a game in the previous 3 games, that sort of pressure. You just feel like to win a league over Man City, you need a little bit of a buffer, and now they don't have that buffer anymore. So, yeah, I mean, I credit to Arteta. You know, he went for the game. He tried to win it. But against a team like Man City, you better be effective and not make any mistakes, and that didn't happen. And they're the masters at making, you know, making use of every opportunity. And the big boys showed up. You know, Grealish scores a winning goal. Erling Haaland, a beautiful assist. I think that was his best play in the game, even better than the goal he scored. So. Yeah, it was a great game to watch, and a befitting title, you know, like the head-to-head title challenges. I think it was far tighter than. I don't think Arsenal fans should be that, you know, upset, because I think it was far tighter than the 3-1 score line.
Yeah, because that goes in line with the thing I was going to say about Arteta and worried, panicking, freaking out Arsenal fans. But before I even say that, because the only thing it's just fun to see Arsenal fans freak out.
I'm not surprised at all.
Like you know what I did immediately? Not watch the post game commentary from all these professionals. I went to Arsenal Fan TV so I could have some fun.
Yeah,
I had a ball watching these guys lose it over there, and even expressions. A Spurs fan went in on them because he's like they've been killing him, so he's like he wanted revenge. But that was good fun yesterday. I even told my homeboy Lloyd, who's a Villa fan, and
they're playing them next, right?
They're playing them next, and it's going to be the revenge of Emery. He's like, "Oh, you fired me, and you just are second place in the league, and why wouldn't I make you stay second place with this team that I got here?"
Yeah, you think you're gonna win the league without me?
Yeah,
my watch.
No, not on my watch. So so one of the things I wanted to say was, damn it. So we were talking about who should have went for what in this game, and Pep shows his experience over Arteta, even though Arteta came up under Pep. It's like Pep played this game based on his practicality to win the league, and Arteta played this game to win the game. And the person who played the game to win the league won the game, and it will probably most eventually win the league. Like Arteta at 1-1 was going for it. Like, he's young, he wants to win, and he feels like he has to win the league. And Pep is like, I'm behind you. I have less points, and but I'll take this 1-1. I'll play practical. I'll give over possession, and I'll concede some things to at least get a point out of this. I'm away. I'm on the road, and winning here, getting a draw here is good, because if I get you back to my spot, I'll have a better chance of winning there. And now he's got to win there, and it's going to be more likely that he gets the points, full points, back at the Etihad. So that was good. But there's something else I wanted to say. Do you think that was a penalty?
That was a very soft penalty. He did impede Saka, but I don't even know what is he supposed to do.
You mean Nketiah?
Was it Nketiah? Oh yeah.
Yeah, Saka took the penalty. Yeah.
Saka, sorry, yeah, Nketiah. Yeah, he got so close, but I think a little bit of your momentum was gonna result in that actual challenge. So yeah, I'm 50-50 on the ones like those.
Yeah, because they both ran into each other.
Yeah.
And I guess the other thing I want to bring up about that game, about Pep being practical, Man City, would you consider them a front foot team?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what would you guess their average possession in a game is?
57-60%.
Right. You know what their possession in this game was that they won away on the road to Arsenal?
Yeah. I know they were very, very low. Yeah.
Very low. So it's this is somebody who wants to win the league.
This is Pep Mourinho, Pep Conte.
Yeah. Who will dip into I think he's learned some things from even watching Ten Hag. Ten Hag is pretty practical. When it comes to certain things. And then Arsenal trying to win the game and not the league, 64%. You know how many passes City had? 303. That is way down. They were like, we're going to clear this ball out. You can have it. And then we'll press you. See if you can get the ball out of your half. No? All right, we'll take that goal, and we take that goal, and we take that goal. Thank you, Arsenal. So yeah. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I have a theory that I actually feel. I don't know if it's actually borne down. Probably somebody out there is doing data analysis behind individual games, but I have a feeling that low possession games probably suit Haaland a lot more than the standard Pep Man City style, because I feel by far Haaland's biggest strength is his pace and his ability to, beat the last man. Yeah, to break free and just go for it. And if you are if you are playing so much in triangles and circles, like in tough games, it becomes very easy for the opponent to pretty much, crowd you out of central areas. If you're playing without the ball, you can actually, suck people in and then create that space that Haaland can just absolutely go and attack. So I think the second goal comes from something like that, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the second goal is another turnover.
Yeah.
And I just remember, I think De Bruyne going down wide, crossing it in, and Haaland running towards it, taking 2 touches, one left, one right, put it in the corner. But Haaland was also
I'm talking about the second goal.
In the second goal. He what did he cross it? And then Gundogan skipped it, and then Grealish put it in. And just for Grealish, man, just like I just been watching him incrementally get more comfortable and better as a Man City player. And he scored against us, United, and he scored like a day ago against Arsenal, big game. And he's ahead of Foden now. Like if Foden is going to get ahead of Grealish, then Foden must be really on some shit. And which is going to be even better for Man City just overall. But yeah, like Grealish is like dribbling the ball at pace, and you just can't get the ball from him. And he knows how to draw contact. He's going to get a foul or make a pass or get past you. So he rarely loses it. He's got great control. I want to talk about this game because you're here, and it's Chelsea versus Borussia Dortmund. And I watched this game too. Both games, was it the same day as yesterday? Yeah, this was a crazy day yesterday, because they had a Premier League game and a Champions League game at the same time.
Almost the same time too, 11:30, 12 o'clock.
And I watched the Arsenal game first because it started half an hour before, and I had to like cut out like any type of information from the Chelsea game. But what I love, so that's when I disappear from the chat, I'm just like today I didn't say shit in the chat. I'm like, I'm not looking at the chat.
Yeah.
But what I did like about this game, this was like an all-star game of the future of football. Like both Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund have all these young players who are going to become the future of football. And some of them were on one side, some of them the other side. So it's great to see the display of these young talents, like in a pretty like high stakes match like this. And so a lot of skill, a lot of offensive skill from either team, and it was great to watch. And I'll let you give me your analysis of like how it went down. But Adeyemi I've never seen a guy. How old is Adeyemi? The Borussia Dortmund.
He's young.
17? He's young.
How young? He's 21.
He's 21 now?
He looks 17.
Yeah, he looks 17. I've never seen a guy. And how much does Enzo Fernandez, how much did he cost?
105 pounds, million pounds, 105 million pounds.
I've never seen a 21-year-old just light 105 million pounds on fire in front of the world and run by it in my life. But go ahead.
The thing is, like in the lead up to the game, this is one of the things that I was reading about. Like Adeyemi his pace is like it's one like when you do our Oppo analysis, Adeyemi space is one of the things that's going to be leaping out of the page to you. So it's not something that should have really caught the team by surprise. I'm sure they spoke about it. I'm sure they had plans for it, and the plans actually worked for most of the game when Borussia Dortmund had the ball. But this is just this crazy counterattack, and I don't even blame Enzo Fernandez much because he was left in a one. Yeah, but because he was left in a 1v1 situation, and Adeyemi is probably one of the fastest players in the world. You're never gonna. Your options are to take the red card, or to let reality play out. The player
after I saw reality played out, I would have taken the red card.
Yeah, maybe if it was like closer to the end of the game,
right,
I would have said yeah. But the bigger thing there for me was, and we've as Chelsea, we've conceded a lot of these counter games from free kicks or corners that we've taken. Don't forget, like we almost scored thrice in the 2 minutes leading up to that goal. Once was a crazy save by the keeper. One was one hit the post and one just missed the target. And we've had, like in the last couple of seasons, a lot of these corners or free kicks taken. And then the counter attack, for some reason, we have like one man left behind. And, Jadon Sancho, for you guys, scored against us. I think last season at Stamford Bridge, actually, the game where Jorginho scored the penalty late in the game to equalize. I think Jorginho scored the penalty. Anyway, but the fact is we've conceded a lot of these games to United, to Arsenal, now to Borussia Dortmund. But then I looked at the setup again, like on replay. We were actually set up fine. We had Enzo Fernandez back. And we had Mudryk. I thought it was 1v1. No, actually, Mudryk was there on the half, on the same circle. He was supposed to be. He was the guy closest to Adeyemi. He was supposed to track him.
Zero pressure.
Forget zero pressure. If you actually go back and see the replay, Mudryk literally has his hands on his hips.
No, I saw
He's doing this, and he's like looking in, like he's in no position to like do anything the moment the clearance happens, and. Mudryk, by the way, is also supposed to be one of the fastest players in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So it was fine that the guy, we selected the right guy to be on Adeyemi. He just didn't, he was sleeping and he had no intensity. In fact, a couple of seconds later, Thiago Silva, who's gone up to take the corner, outruns Mudryk and is closer. He's the second man after Enzo Fernandez, much closer than where Mudryk was. So I think that goal was down to Mudryk. I don't want to be too harsh on the guy because he's just come in, but you got to wake up like in the big time. Like wingers are not there just to contribute in the forward phase. You have to track back, and especially in situations like this where you're given a role. But like one of the best goals I've seen this season by Adeyemi, to trap the ball, make that run, dribble past, skip past. Yeah. And even the finish was so cool. Past Kepa. So yeah. Apart from that, I think we had a very slow start to the game. Dortmund pretty much dominated the first 20-30 minutes. But pretty much after that, I think all the clearer chances pretty much fell to Chelsea. We had João Felix had a great game. He just can't finish. I don't know why nobody can finish at Chelsea.
It got Kai Havertz disease, and whatever disease Havertz got when he got there from whoever he got it from, Werner or who Werner got it from. It's like y'all got finishing school disease, man. Or lack of finishing school.
Havertz did it twice where he had the ball, and he had open space in front of him. There was the one defender on the left, almost parallel to him, so there's nobody ahead of him, and both times he goes completely, instead of going towards goal, he once goes like towards the defender, and the other time he goes away, like he goes towards the byline. And this is the problem. So I like Graham Potter. I've liked Graham Potter as a coach before he came to Chelsea, and I want to give him time. So I'm fine with like him getting the season and maybe even next season when he has a full preseason available to him. But when you're in a relationship and there are certain red flags that no matter how good the rest of the relationship is, you got to pay attention to that. Right. That's what I feel with what Potter is doing with the whole striker situation. So he did not register Aubameyang in the Champions League. He could not register Fofana.
Could we stop at the Aubameyang? Aubameyang, you seen him play for Chelsea, and it wasn't good.
Like, but it's still miles better than what as a striker. He's still a striker. At the end of the day, a striker doesn't forget being a striker. I'm not saying Aubameyang would lift us to a Champions League title, or he's gonna be Aubameyang of 2017, 2018. But right now we have probably in the Premier League, we have probably a relegation level striker. Like we've missed 15 of our last 17 big chances. That's just absolutely nuts. No matter how good you're at it.
That's not all on Havertz though, right?
Most of it is like 70-80%
I'm sure
of it's on.
You should check because I'm sure some of those were also Aubameyang. Like I saw Aubameyang.
No. Aubameyang hasn't played. I'm talking about the last 6 games. Aubameyang hasn't played. He hasn't even been in the squad. And I can understand that if there's some, things happening behind the scenes. But Potter comes out in every press conference and says, no, absolutely no problems with Aubameyang. He's been an absolute professional. He's brilliant in training. So, like, are you, like, just plain out lying? Or what is going on? Like, why can't you select? Because you can't select Fofana in the Champions League. You couldn't register him. Broja is injured. So you've literally gone into the Champions League with one striker, just one striker. By the way, teams go with more than one striker, right? She's gone with one striker, and that guy's not even a striker. So, and same thing is happening in the league. In the league, at least he has the option of using Dr. Fofana. He's refusing to use him, and he won't select Aubameyang in the squad. So, it's really frustrating to me because the problem now we are actually creating the chances. If you'd spoken about this like a month back or like more than 7 games before, I would have said there's no point having a striker because you're not creating anything. But now we are creating. We're creating actually a good number of chances every game, but we can't score because we don't have a natural goal scorer. So,
what do you think of Mudryk so far, besides being a terrible defender?
I think he's
on set plays.
Yeah, I think even the last game, I think the goal that we conceded, his tracking back was a little partly at fault. But I think as like his primary role, he's been okay. Like he hasn't done anything great. Like he hasn't scored or assisted for us yet. But he is providing the pace. He is stretching the play, and he is making those passes and linking up good with like people like Felix, Enzo Fernandez, Chilwell, who played the last game. He made a delicious ball. He gave a delicious ball to Kai Havertz in the last game, and then Havertz, obviously being Havertz, was offside. Right. But I mean,
that's why I didn't even try to pass the Havertz this game. He's like, "You're gonna be offside. I'm not gonna waste my beautiful passing on you."
Yeah, I think so far, like without really being spectacular, I think he's been okay.
Yeah, he kind of like didn't do much this game. And like you said, like if he'd have just tracked back and made the game-saving tackle or applied some pressure so that, like, this is one of the fastest kids, Adeyemi, in world soccer. And Enzo Fernandez is running backwards. You're dead. Yeah. You're not going to catch somebody with speed. They got you going, running in the most unnatural position while they're running at their full 1,000% favorite direction. And like you're dead. And even though the only thing you can give Enzo credit is he forced him to the outside, which was still a strong side, but Adeyemi. And then Adeyemi gets around the goalkeeper And he's like, nah, which part of the net am I put this in? I'll pick right there. And it's like the whole time, Mudryk is like trailing behind, watching. Oh, that's what I should do with the ball when I get it. Like, all right, cool. I mean, noted. But but it's a good thing he got to see what he should do with the ball, so that next time when he plays, he can do that shit with the ball. If he'd have tackled and saved it, he would know what to do. And Chelsea, who needs goals, won't get any goals in the future. But now he knows. So you're good.
Yeah, I mean, Mudryk, I know he can do it because the last game he stopped the counter attack by being in the right position, and using his pace. So it's not like he can't do it. He just needs to be switched on.
Yeah, like he needs the 12 years a slave whip to his back after that. So
yeah,
let me just
fat chance having that from Grant Potter.
Professor Potter.
There's a scene, one thing that's happening in Chelsea fans is like people are getting really worked up upon Grant Potter not going absolutely ballistic. Like nothing to do with the football. The fact that he didn't lose his shit at the referee. And there was a fight last game, and there was a fight in the Dortmund game between the two benches, and like a couple of players got involved too. And there's a picture of Graham Potter. He's like at least 10 yards away, standing out there and just looking on. People are like, what, did we get like a pastor for a coach? What's wrong with this guy?
I don't know if you've checked out Graham Potter's attire lately, but that nigga must have a stylist, because he's looking like he's not wearing suits. But when you looking as good as somebody wearing a suit, and you ain't wearing suits, I can't see Graham Potter with all the players he has, names he has to memorize, going shopping for himself. So that nigga got a stylist, and he's not trying to get into the middle of no fight and ruffle his brand new clothes. So good luck with Chelsea fans.
He's going in
wanting to see him upset.
Yeah, he's going in for the Carlo Ancelotti vibe.
Yeah, that motherfucker's trying to get like called up for Fashion Week, the way he's dressing. But I'm gonna name like a bunch of young players from both teams, and you tell me who you thought was the most outstanding yesterday in that game. So young players I'm gonna mention from Dortmund is Brant. I gotta mention Jude and Adeyemi. And then I'm gonna skip Havertz from Chelsea, but you had João Felix, Mudryk, Fernandes for you, James. I think those are the youngest. Like, what do you think of? Who do you think was the best young player yesterday?
I think Adeyemi was the best player because he actually made the difference.
Right. Okay. And he was probably the least famous of the young players yesterday. Before
he's not going to be least famous anymore.
Right. And he also was a threat all game, from what I could see.
Yeah.
You could see this coming.
Yeah, I think Bellingham in midfield was neutralized to a large extent. But that was also because I think Potter did a smart thing because his physicality is a big part of what he is, right? He pretty much the choice of having Loftus-Cheek there, I think really helped us because apart from the first 15-20 minutes, like Enzo and Loftus-Cheek, they locked down that midfield really well. So we didn't see a lot of threat coming. I mean, Bellingham's Bellingham. He's always going to be threatening on the ball, but I think they did a good job in minimizing the damage from Bellingham. From our side, I think the best young player was. This is the sad part. I think João Felix was our best player, but he was also our worst player in the sense because he is the guy who missed those golden chances. So it's like we can't ever have a complete performance by one guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he acquitted himself good, but finishing was not he was not clinical.
He did a
yesterday.
lot of pretty things without really being effective.
Yeah.
But for now, the way the team is, I'll take the pretty things as a starting point.
Yeah, he's got that special player touch and
Yeah,
look.
yeah.
But can he, can he put those that's can he become a specialist of putting the ball in the back of the net? I also liked I did like Bellingham. I know at first it felt like Enzo was shadowing him and on him, but then I felt like he got used to that and figured out a way to get touches on the ball and help move the ball around the pitch. So then, besides Adeyemi, I thought he did good yesterday. Enzo was good, except when he got caught running backwards by Adeyemi. That was embarrassing. Like, yeah, he got dunked on. He got posterized. He got filleted at the stake by that kid. But I would still say in all of Enzo's games, he was good. Ziyech, he's not a young player, but what a frustrating guy to have on your team, bro.
Yeah, Ziyech is like, it sometimes makes me laugh because a lot of times he gets the ball and I know exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah,
and I think everybody knows
go
it.
forward, stop, and then make this awkward cross-field cross that 90% of the time gets to nobody.
Yeah. But the weird thing about Ziyech is like, even though he does that, it at least once or twice a game, it will actually make a difference.
Yeah. And it did.
Yeah, even
not
this
to
game,
make a difference,
right?
but yeah. Who likes cutting back
the
more,
Havertz,
him or Anthony from Man United, who used to play on the same team for him, as him, Ajax. Why can't Ajax right wingers go straight and right? Why is this cutback thing?
Yeah, and but we are not a team where we can take advantages of low volume. So you have to do that thing right a lot of times for us to even like have have any joy out of it. So yeah, I want to see a lot more of Madueke. I think Ziyech, ever since he's been played as a winger, has been decent. But I feel we can do a lot more. So if Madueke is the answer, then so be it. But yeah, I'm not totally disappointed with Ziyech. It's just that it's frustrating because I'm sure opponents are also figuring him out, and it's very easy to like cut, minimize any damage from him.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna skip from this game. And do you want to talk about PSG versus Bayern Munich? Did you see it? And then Lee.
I saw most of it. I saw, well, yeah, I don't know the exact amount I saw, but I saw a fair bit of it.
Well, Lee came to rescue you right on time. Let's see if Lee saw that game. Lee, everybody, Lee just joined us. Stand-up comic from England, Southampton, fan with no coach. Jesse Marsh said no, and Southampton said no. We don't know who said no first to who, but they both said no. So, what's up, fam? How is Did you get to see the PSG Munich game?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So, could you give us your assessment of said game?
Bayern was surprisingly dominant for the first, I would say, hour or so. Like surprisingly so. Like I thought they would I thought PSG, like I said, I think I predicted on the pod earlier in the week, I thought PSG might have the edge. But I mean, Bayern, they made it count. Kingsley Coman scored the goal. He didn't celebrate. He tried to keep it neutral. He's obviously ex Paris. But yeah, like Mbappe didn't start. He came off the bench. So like, and that gave PSG some impetus. Like you could see he wasn't fully 100% when he came on, but he was still trying to do everything. And he obviously had like goal disallowed, or 2 goals disallowed actually, I think it was. And yeah, PSG were trying their hardest to get back in the game, but they just couldn't find it. Like Messi had a really good chance from a cutback that came to on the edge of the box, and there was an amazing block in front of the ball, because I think it would have almost certainly been been a goal. And Nuno Mendes, the left back for PSG, was a really good outlet for them down the left side. He was getting into the box, getting the crosses in.
I was like, do they have two Mbappes on the same side of the pitch? Like every time he burned by somebody and left them in flames, I was like, that Mbappe, but nah, Mendes, man. Jesus.
Yeah, and Jan Sommer, obviously Bayern's buy in the transfer window to cover for Neuer. He made a good save, I think, with his face from a 1v1 with Mbappe as well. So yeah, PSG put the pressure on, and if they have Messi and Mbappe and Neymar fit for the second leg, they've got a chance because there's firepower in those guys. Like I think if they had Mbappe from the start of this game, if he was 100% fully fit, it might have been a different story. But credit to Bayern, they turned up with a game plan. They dominated when they had to. They got their goal. Choupo-Moting had a good attempt as well. So all in all, it was an interesting game. Like it's always fun just to watch like two really high-class teams go at each other. And that's what this game was. It's a shame it didn't have more goals, but it was a very high-quality game of football. You could sense that. And Pavard got sent off as well towards the end for a bit of an ugly challenge on Messi. When Messi was bursting into the box, he sort of caught him just outside the box. Kind of smart in a way, because Messi was about to drive into the box, and who knows, he could have got, it's Messi, he can do something with that.
Right.
But I don't know if Bayern will miss him for the next game. I don't know who the replacement will be. So they'll be without him for the second leg. But yeah, I think Bayern just about deserved the win for the dominance that they had for the first part of the game. So yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, it was shocking the first half to see like PSG just fall back and absorb pressure from Bayern in Paris. Like PSG acted like they went to see their dominatrix and played like they were in a dominatrix, their dominatrix basement for like most of the first half. Like the funny thing about the second half is before Mbappe came on, they changed the narrative of the first half and were on the attack. So just knowing that Mbappe was going to come on at some point made PSG more aggressive before he actually came on. Like that's how much influence this dude has. And then like they just came out in the second half with just way more impetus, knowing that their change was going to be made. But like you said, it went the way it went, and PSG overall just seems so weak. And I know it's football and anything could change in a game, but they just look so weak for a team that has Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. And I was listening to Jules, I forgot his name, he's a journalist. He does ESPN and a lot of shows.
Jules Lawrence.
Yeah, Jules Lawrence. He's like, this team can't work with the three up front. You could play two of the three, but not all three. And I don't think he's wrong, man. Like for them to win, like Messi's not going to defend. Like all three of them are not going to defend. There's always a moment, just like we was just talking about the Chelsea versus Dortmund game, when you need an attacking player to make a defensive play. And if you're young and you're at the, like if you're at the peak of your skills physically and you haven't won anything yet, you might do that. Like, but these guys, Messi and Neymar ain't gonna do that shit. Mbappe might.
Messi could, when he was like young in the Barca days, like he could press. The whole Barca game was built off of the counter press and getting the ball back so they can get at teams. But he just, like, the willingness might still be there in his brain, but the legs can't really do it anymore.
Yeah, the legs are like, nah, Messi, we won you a World Cup. We ain't. This is just some team in Paris we taking a vacation in. We're not. No, we're not. This is not our country. Fuck this team. I guess, is it any thoughts on Scott Parker versus Benfica?
I mean,
Benfica won 2-0.
Yeah, it should have been more. Benfica humped them. It was bad for Scott Parker and Club Brugge. I mean, 2-0 is a good result for them, but they got opened up over and over and over again by Benfica. Benfica really could have buried them in this game. And considering it was, at home for Club
bad.
Brugge,
Benfica only had 14 shots to 4.
they were all big chances though as well, like big chances.
I mean, yeah. Like out of Bruges only had 1 on target.
Yeah, Scott Parker's lucky he didn't get the scoreline which got him sacked at Bournemouth against Liverpool. It could have been that, and there's no chance unless they, can pull off a miracle tactically. There's no chance they're getting through, having to go to Benfica for the next leg of this game. I mean, stranger things have happened, but I mean, based on that performance, I can't see it.
Yeah, and that Benfica team was stacked. And is that where Enzo Fernandez came from?
Yeah.
So damn, that it might have been 4-0 if he was still there, because that's a lot of the members of the Portugal national team that aren't playing for Wolves. The other half of the Portugal national team is on Benfica.
They got the Ramos kid there.
Yeah, like I saw him, I was like, oh shit, yeah. So, but you know what? The guy who edited the highlights for this game must be a Bruges fan, because they did not look bad in the highlights. The game looked even. So
they did. They look bad in the ones I watched.
Yeah, you got to send me the one you watched. I'll send you the one I watched. I was like, oh, Scott Parker, even game. But you told me they were getting crushed. But the highlight editor must be a fan of. Must be Belgium and shit. So we covered Arsenal versus Man City. We covered Chelsea versus Borussia Dortmund, and we just talked about PSG versus my memories at Bayern Munich. And let's go to one of the biggest Europa League games in Europa League history, because of the teams involved. It's basically a Champions League game, like a fallen angel Champions League game. Like Europa League must have been like happy to have this. But it's a great idea that we came up with this dumb system to make the last team, the team that could have qualified and should have went through to the other stage, like them fight it off in some type of weird playoff before we start the next round of the Europa League, so that we can make more money. But what a match! And I couldn't watch it when it started. I got threatened by Moa because he's a Barcelona fan, and I had to tell him, "Hey, I'm not gonna be able to watch the match, and so don't, if you, don't. I don't want to hear anything, because I know if Barca went up like a goal, he's gonna start texting, and I don't want to see the score." So he respected that, but I'm sure if they'd have scored first, or I had the lead at any point, he would have texted me. Like, I saw the game, and and I saw it right before the podcast started. That's why it was late. Like, I got back, and Barcelona did not lead at any point, and both teams got 2 freakish goals, and both teams created chances, and it was an open game. I feel like Man United created the better chances. I'm not sure that playing Gavi as a left winger is the best thing for Xavi to do, but maybe it's because of a personnel shortage. I know that Barcelona has gotten better in the league because they got all of their defenders back. Like, when they were stumbling early in the season, they didn't have all their defenders. I got to check to see, but once, Araujo didn't make the World Cup because he was injured, and and that would have been a big difference with him and Valverde playing for Uruguay in the World Cup. That would have been a big thing. But let me just see. Let me just go to the Europa League, what the Barcelona's defender situation was like, because they have a pretty lit D.
I think Alba was on the left, because it was him doubling up with Gavi, wasn't it, out on the left side?
I don't think I'm trying to think if he played out. I just saw the game, and I don't remember seeing him. Where is this lineup? It's not popping up. I'm getting stats, but I'm not getting.
Yeah. Barca were ahead as well because it was the Alonso
Jordi
header.
Alba, yeah.
The Alonso header put them 1-0 up. Then you guys
Yeah,
turned it around.
Yeah, the ball. No. We went up first. No, they went up first. You're right.
They went up first. It was back to back.
Yeah, then Rashford scored from the angle.
By the time Moore was texting me to tweet, "You're down," Rashford evened it up, and then I guess he had to erase that text. So I guess that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then
Rashford.
Yeah.
Leave that one in drafts.
Yeah. And then we went ahead on that freakish goal. And then later on, probably like in the 70-something minute, Rafinha put in one of those Ziyech crosses that me and you were just talking about. That, that Lewandowski didn't skip on purpose, couldn't get to it, but it just created that shadow that blocked the ball out from De Gea, and another freakish goal went in there and 2-2. But overall, man, a pretty good game. I'm glad. I thought we were going to lose. I told that to Moa in the chat, going up, before. But for us to tie up there gives us a really good chance to knock them out when they come to play us. I hope, I like Dembele, but I hope he's cured from his injury right after that rematch and has a great season after that. But
do away goals count in the Europa League still?
No, I think they deaded all that everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just like you just got to win.
Because that would be useful, scoring 2 goals at their place.
Yeah, that would have been dope useful. And I'm kind of confused by the way we were lined up. But I think Fred, I got to give him props, had a good game. And he's getting better, but he's still the guy that will impress you one game, and then you're like, all right, we can rely on him, and then he'll prove you can't. But then I think he's had 2 decent games in a row. I think he won the player of the match the game before this. He had a great assist for Rashford today, so I don't want that to get lost. That was like a world-class pass. And let me tell you who Fred is, bro. Like, I figured it out. He wants to be a hero. Fred wants to be a hero. Like, there was this tackle he made, I think, on Gavi, like outside the penalty box. And it's like, you wanted to make a hero tackle when all you had to do was stand in front of him and prevent him from, even if he turns, from making a through pass. And that's all you had to do. And you went to the ground because you want to make a hero tackle. But when Fred gets the hero shit out of his mind and just does his tackling at just a normal rate and just makes one-touch passes, this is a player. So I hope we can get that guy out of Fred. Get the hero out of Fred. Like, I think he's been abused by Manchester United fans so much he wants to prove to them that, no, I can do hero shit. And when you try to do hero shit, it's not good for the team.
Basically, he wants to look Brazilian.
Yes. Hero shit. Yes, he wants to look Brazilian. Stop trying to look Brazilian, bro. Be Scott Parker when he was a player. And United would love you. Be Carrick. Carrick was boring, but at some point, everybody's like, Fred, like, history will tell us who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I remember like Mikel, when he came to Chelsea, he was like known as this attacking number 10 style of midfielder. But Mourinho gave him one task to essentially, become a deeper defensive midfielder. And he took on that role and he absolutely nailed it for almost an entire decade. So
did you guys respect him? I thought you guys didn't respect him. I thought he was a good player, and I was like, I never heard any Chelsea fans bragging about him.
The thing is, Mikel, he was overshadowed. Yeah, you're right. Like, he's one of those guys he never got as much praise as he should have. But he's like one of those cult heroes. And people like who followed a lot of Chelsea, they appreciate like what he's what he's done. He never let the team down. Probably our best player in the whole Champions League run in 2012. I think he played every minute of every game. So yeah, but what I'm saying, like with somebody like Fred, I don't know what age he is. I don't know if it's too late for him to change the way he plays. But there are people who have like reinvented themselves in these roles and gone on to have great successful careers.
Is 29 too late?
Yeah, 29 is too late. Because you just know that the manager is not going to have faith in him.
Is 29 too late for him to become Clarence Seedorf?
Yeah.
Because I think that's who he's trying to become.
He can be a good squad player, I guess.
Yeah, he could be a good squad player, but when you come on, just one touch the ball and then make the tackles you can make and have some discipline defensively. Don't always just be out of contact with is it the 6? Who's staying behind?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep contact with the 6 sometimes and the back 4. But Luke Shaw played center half, left-sided. And somebody was saying today, it's an indictment on Maguire and Lindelof. But once Lindelof is on the bench, and Lindelof has actually been good next to Varane or next to Martinez, it's not an indictment on Maguire either. It's just Ten Hag prefers a left-footed, left-sided center back, and Shaw has proven that he could do it. So, he was, so he's in the game. But yeah, man,
he's got the physique to play at the back as well, hasn't he? He's actually built more like a centre back than a left back, really.
Think so?
Yeah, he's quite like broad-shouldered and like stocky. He's 6 foot tall as well, so he's built more like a centre back at times.
He's the shortest 6-footer I know. Like, I believe you that he's 6 foot, but he doesn't look like it to me.
I think it's because he's quite like squat physically as well. Like he's like stocky, like he's wide.
Right.
He's not like sort of like lean tall.
Right. I'm looking at some of the stats from this game. I did not see the 61% possession that Barcelona had in this game, but all right, fine, if they say so. If they say
like
so.
you say, you had enough good chances to suggest that you had a game plan, and that probably involved having slightly less of the ball, and playing on the counter and utilizing that. I found it strange. You guys played Weghorst as like a 10. You played him like the Harry Kane of your team, with Rashford like roving ahead of him, moving into the wide areas, going central, almost having like a bit of a freedom roll across the front line, which seemed to cause Barca problems as well, because he was popping up in different areas, like getting in behind and stuff. So that was an interesting tactical tweak from Ten Hag, which they probably didn't see coming as well.
Right, and we had Bruno on the right, and we had Rashford as the 9, and Sancho on Sancho on the left. Yeah. So yeah, man, Ten Hag did that in the second half of the last game we played versus, who did we play last? Leeds,
yeah.
When they took off, they put in 2 subs. One was Garnacho, and who was the other person? And we thought that, they're just going to put Garnacho left. But yeah, he took off Sancho, put Bruno right, dropped Weghorst behind Rashford, and we got the goals for the game from there. So like, we tried it like on the weekend, and it kind of worked. So yeah, but yeah, that's basically who's the next person to turn down the Southampton coaching job? Like who's next to be like no, and to be no to?
I mean, I turned it down today as well. So,
That's hilarious.
no, I mean, I honestly think we're better off with no manager than Nathan Jones right now. So,
Yeah.
no, the Spanish coach we have who's taking
he
the
seems
team
promising.
in the interim. Yeah, he's a switched on guy. Like the players apparently really like him. I think I said that on the last one, and he's one of these dudes. Like he's been coaching since he was like in his 20s. He's 39 years old. He's coached in like some crazy countries in like Azerbaijan and places. He was the assistant coach. He was the assistant coach at FC Copenhagen in Denmark last season, and they won the Danish title. So he's got like a good experience. Apparently, he speaks 4 languages as well. So he's quite good with like.
Who brought him in?
Sport Republic, the owners, with Hasenhüttl's blessing. They gave Hasenhüttl like a list of coaches because they got rid of some old coaches last year that Hasenhüttl inherited when he took over, that stayed for a few years, and they said, here's some guys we would like to bring in. Do you like any of their resumes? And he picked his. So he came in the summer. But when you're an assistant coach, I know this from experience when I've worked in those roles, you're kind of there to implement the manager's game plan. You're there to challenge them and give your opinion, but ultimately it's the manager who has the say. So I don't know how much of the Jones and Hasenhüttl results were down to Sellers' work, or if he is going to come out with something different this week. He's got 100% record with us. He had 1 game in charge between Hasenhüttl and Jones. We beat Sheffield Wednesday in the cup, Carabao Cup, I think it was. So this is his next chance against Chelsea. We'll see what he's been working on this week.
Oh shit! Let's talk about that.
It looks like he's got the whole week to work with the players now because there's not going to be an appointment made. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great chance for him to advertise himself for the job. If we can go and even get a draw at Stamford Bridge would be a great result. So, we'll see.
Well, let me ask you a question, Lee. Do you think your interim coach will even be coaching against Graham Potter this weekend after Graham Potter, whose strength so far for Chelsea has been Champions League, lost his first game in Champions League?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Potter will still be there. He's they looks like they're going to give him time, and the team are actually playing okay. They're just not finishing chances. So if they could not finish their chances this weekend, that would be great. Because I mean, some pretty average teams have managed to take points off Chelsea this season. So I'm hoping we can add ourselves to that list of mediocre teams to upset them.
Well, you beat top teams before, like you beat Man City, like it was in a cup, but you beat them. And I think you've given them trouble before. And
we beat Chelsea in the home game this season. So
okay.
I mean, it was under Tuchel, who is apparently better than Potter. So if we can beat Tuchel, surely we can beat Potter.
Potter did win 4 out of 4 Champions League games though in the group stage. So
yeah, and what's his name would have won 5 if he'd won today. Yeah, 5 in a row. First Chelsea manager, but didn't happen. If he'd have won yesterday, I mean, what do you think your chances of beating Southampton this weekend, man? What you got?
I think our chances of playing a good game are pretty high. But beyond that, like I think we're reaching a stage where it's not the quality of the opposition, right? That we are unable to score against. It's not like we are coming up against the best defenses in Europe and not being able to score. So it really doesn't matter what level Southampton currently is, which is not a great level, but it's but
I can't argue. I can't argue it.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like our level is to not even be able to score against them. Like so, our attack is essentially maybe not all aspects of our attack, but our finishing is probably on par with Southampton's defense. So it's an equal fight.
Well, Southampton won't even need defense if your finishing or lack of it keeps up.
Well, if you see Jan Bednarek on the team sheet, he'll score the goals for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, you probably have to depend on a few goals.
I will worry if I see his name on the team sheet. I'm hoping it's not there. I'm hoping Ruben Sellers has enough experience of watching him to go, nah, I'm not going to pick him like Nathan Jones did. So, but yeah, if he's on the team sheet, you can guarantee he'll put one in the net for you.
Jan Bednarak is going to be Chelsea's leading scorer this game. Let me ask you a question, Neil. If Potter loses this game against Southampton, a wounded team, no coach, rudderless in London, do you think the patience is over for Potter?
See, the thing is, like, it's so tough to know because these are new owners. You don't.
What would you do?
Have a lot of. I'm kind of sick of the revolving door of managers at Chelsea. So, and I always believe that you should give a manager at least till the end of the season, which is why, I mean, I was against Tuchel sacking. I was against Lampard sacking. So I wanted Sarri to stay on. He left himself. So that was not a sacking, but as I said, like, if Potter keeps doing this thing with striker, like, he's almost like he has a death wish. So I don't know. I've definitely seen in the last 6 games our performances improve. A lot of the things that we are not doing right before that, we've improved a lot in those aspects. Defensively, we are the 3rd best team in the league. So he's at least locked down. Yeah. Goals per game conceded. Yeah, we are 3rd in the league, ahead of Man City, and almost
tell by
close
the
with
position
Arsenal.
you are in the table.
Yeah, I know. That just shows like how bad we've been going forward. We are on track on a goals per game basis to be the 6th lowest scoring Chelsea team in first division history. Like, this is since 1907.
You talking about Chelsea women or the men?
The men. In the history, like, we are on track to be, like, if we continue scoring at this rate.
This season Chelsea or Mourinho Chelsea? When you're
I'm talking about goals scored right now.
Yeah.
Goals scored, we are on track to be the 6th lowest Chelsea team of entire first division. That's like the old first division plus Premier League since 1907.
My bad. I thought you were still bragging about your defense, because that's the defensive thing is the thing that sounds impressive. So it doesn't even fit with where y'all are in the table.
So that's true. Like, we are historically bad as an attacking team this season, and we are on a league basis doing pretty well this season on defensive basis. So yeah, I mean, let's see how it goes. I would be really excited to see if we have a difference change in the striker position. I think the 4-2-3-1 is doing good. Other than that,
let me ask you one question. So you're Chelsea coach. You're gonna work out the team for the rest of the week. What's the one thing you're working on this week?
I'm making sure every drill that's happening on a first team basis does not have Havertz in it. It has either Fofana or Aubameyang. Because, I mean, the other pieces are doing their job. You know, I think we can still get more fluid. Of course, we are not completely there in terms of fluidity, but maybe Zakaria coming in for Loftus-Cheek. But even though I think Loftus-Cheek has done his job well in the last 2 games, but he's still only a makeshift DM. Zakaria is the specialist, and if he's fit finally, he should be the guy playing alongside Enzo Fernandez. Badiashile comes in because in the league he qualifies to play. The rest, I think, is fine. Just, you know, play an actual somebody who knows the back of the net.
I was looking for you to say our finishing, the F word, the big F word is like our finishing, not even blame it on Kai Havertz. Like, I'd have Kai Havertz right now taking shots.
But in the history of me watching in Chelsea, I don't know. I mean, I don't follow every team that closely. But in the history of me watching Chelsea, I've never seen a bad finisher become a good finisher. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
but he doesn't have to become a good finisher. He just needs to finish like 1 or 2 times against Southampton. Like, listen, you guys got to win this game. Like
Yeah.
Chelsea, Southampton don't got no coach, so coach can't get fired. But you got a coach that can get fired if he doesn't win this game. Because the fans, you're cool. You're like, I don't like this revolving door. But there's a lot of motherfuckers who love those
the fans are
round
paying
doors.
for blood. The fans are paying for blood. And but the problem is like, well, I don't know if it's a problem, but the thing is like the hierarchy, the owners are briefing all these journalists, constantly saying that it doesn't matter. We are prepared. We are convinced about Graham Potter. He's our coach for the future.
Rich people lie.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard that? And then I've seen people say it while they're firing the guy. They're saying they're not going to fire. So.
They already fired a guy. I think what's happening right now, this is my theory. They made a stupid mistake with firing Tuchel. They know it. We know it. Everybody knows it. And now they're doubling down because firing Potter right now makes that decision look even more spectacularly stupid. So, and they'll spend another 300 million. So I think there's a certain sense of doubling down, but yeah, it's a lot of moving pieces.
It was kind of a high like stress environment when they fired him, wasn't it, as well? Because like it just gone through a really weird window where Todd Bowley was doing all of the sporting director work, and everyone seemed stressed. Like Tuchel seemed stressed because he had to get involved when he didn't want to get involved. And I think they could have just gave that time and let it all calm down and get the appointments made in those positions. And then I think everyone's stress levels would have come back down again. It would have been a bit of short-term pain to get there, but all I'm saying though is if I see Kai Havertz's name on the team sheet for Saturday,
you're getting a betting slip down.
Yeah, I'm gonna put money on him to score, because if he's gonna score against anyone, it'll be us. I guarantee.
You're probably gonna make some bang because the odds are gonna be long on that one.
I don't know if the bookies will let me.
Neil feels
I don't know if the bookies will let me put a bet on the
wreck of Chelsea's offense. That's how.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I don't know if they'll let me put a bet on where I can say Bednarek own goal or Havertz, one of the two. If they'll give me like a split bet that one of these players will score for Chelsea.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for the guy because he does a lot of good work within games. Like he still creates chances. He links up well. He's very hardworking, one of the most hardworking forward players I've seen. But he just doesn't have some of the basics to be playing as a number 9, which then kind of makes me feel like we as a club are destroying his career, because for almost 2.5 seasons now, he's been forced to play that role, and it's just not working out.
I'm just having a look to see what the odds are for
Havertz to score.
Havertz to score first is 5-1. So if I put £1 on, I get 5 back. He's 15-8 to score any time, which isn't bad odds.
You put
these bookies
down.
haven't
How much
been
would you get back on that?
If I put £1 on that, that would return £2.87. But I'd put more than that. I'd probably throw £10 on there, get £28.75 back. Not encouraging gambling on this show, obviously. Unless anyone wants to sponsor us, I guess.
You're not encouraging it.
Gamble at your own risk.
Not encouraging responsible gambling. If you're asking people to bet on Havertz to score,
these are the weird bets that they have for Super Bowls, like the bets that you're reading.
I'm actually a plant from the bookies, trying to encourage people to give them money.
The bookies are plants for bookies because the odds that they give are completely in their favor, There's some interesting games this weekend. Tottenham, West Ham, Sunday, 8:30. That's probably like, besides the Newcastle, Liverpool, that's probably the biggest. There's a lot of big games. Leeds, Everton, because of like the relegation implication. and then Aston Villa versus Arsenal, because Arsenal hasn't won a Premier League game in like 3 or 4 games, and now they're behind Man City, and they have a game in hand, and this could be their game in hand. I know their game in hand is a specific game, but any game they play until they play the game in hand is their game in hand. So they have a chance to like go back to the top of the league. Oh, there's a video you guys have to watch. I don't know if you watch Vibe at 5. That's the podcast with Rio, Stephen Hudson, and Joe Bayer. Joe Bayer, if I'm saying his name right, is
It's
Aston. It's an Arsenal fan.
Arsenal fan, yeah.
And he went to the game yesterday. And I swear, so then they zoom in, and because he talks the ultimate shit on 5 at 5, especially when Man United lose or drop points, and Arsenal's just been winning. So his shit has just been up here. Like, yo, he was crying. Bro, he was crying by the end of the podcast yesterday. Like, to the point, like, they felt bad for him. That's how, I mean, they kind of stopped bantering him. Because
why? He's still top of the league. Like,
he's not. The second.
I mean, yeah, but
but
they got a game. They got a game in
they got a
hand.
game in hand.
They got a game in hand. But the one thing I was gonna say to when Neil was on, we was talking about Villa, like when we was talking about Arsenal versus Man City. This is Arsenal's hope. In the post-game interview with Arteta, the guy was like, "How are you gonna?" He kind of asking him, like, "How down are the guys and how are you gonna pick them up?" And Arteta was completely optimistic. Like, he felt like they brought the game to Man City, and that this was a very encouraging sign. So then he and he should have had this encouraging sign from like a year and a half ago. I think the last few times they played Man City, they kind of brought the game to them, but it's just like Man City's just been too street smart. So like the bravery is there, the technique is there, and they can outpass them. They can create chances. So he's the saving grace for the loss yesterday is that Arteta believes in this team, and that's what you need. The guy to like, make them not feel like this loss is that bad and not put that pressure on them. Like, you need that Ancelotti type vibe in a situation like this. Like when Ancelotti's down in critical moments in game and the time is running out, he's not panicking. And even in the Super Bowl this weekend, like Patrick Mahomes was mic'd, the quarterback for KC, and they ran the tape from when he like had a rolled ankle and to when he's on the bench in pain and agony to when he came back out in the second half. And when they were down and behind. And he's like, let's get it. This is the time of our lives. And just that energy, like, brought the play all the way downfield and they won. So Arteta is in that frame of mind. So Arsenal fans, Joe Bayer, stop crying. You got a chance.
You just own the fact that you are one of the best teams in the league. Don't be so rattled so quickly.
Yeah, because if you're the best team in the league, then you wouldn't be rattled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lee, tell me what you think about the Tottenham West Ham, and then Neil, you tell me what you think about Liverpool, Newcastle, and then we can be.
I mean, I hate that I'm going to be rooting for Tottenham in this game. That doesn't sit well with me at all. But I mean, I think Southampton are down, but I'm still going to retain hope if the teams who are also down there can lose some games as well. And West Ham have picked up some points, but they're still technically in that battle. Let me just have a look where they are. They're 16th. They're only 5 points away from us. That's not an amount that is impossible to make up. If for some reason Spurs beat West Ham and we beat Chelsea, that gap's 2 points. So it's not a crazy gap. So yeah, I'm going to be rooting for Tottenham, which like I say, it makes me feel really uneasy. It makes me feel a little bit ill. That I'm going to be cheering for Tottenham in this game.
You'll feel
There's
iller if West Ham wins. So take this L.
I'm part of a score prediction league where you have to predict the exact score for each game. And for this one, I've predicted Spurs 1-0 because I don't think Spurs are like flying right now form-wise, but also I think like West Ham aren't that potent as well, and I think Spurs will pinch it by 1 goal.
So what's the situation with Antonio Conte's health right now? I know
he had an operation and missed. What game did he miss? He missed the game they won again. Was it? No, it wasn't Man City, was it? He missed a game because he was having an operation on something, and
it might have been City.
Yeah,
I think it was City.
But didn't he wasn't there an update? I thought Martin put up something.
Yeah, I think he came back after the operation for the Sporting, for the Leicester game and another game, and then he's sort of relapsed or something and needs to.
You saw Spurs play and they got sick treatment again. Spurs playing got him sick. Then he went to the hospital. They won. He got better. Then he came back out. He saw them play again, and he's sick again. So he relapsed.
It'll do that to you.
Spurs like mold. You be around it, it'll activate whatever is making you ill. What do you think about Newcastle, Liverpool, Neil?
I mean, I want Newcastle to drop points and I want Liverpool to drop points. So, but all season I've been thinking that Liverpool's going to have this one game where they turn things around, because I think there have been a lot of games
where they what?
They're going to turn it around and make that charge back up, because both Liverpool and Chelsea are down at the bottom, down the part of the table they shouldn't be. But I feel Liverpool have performed better than Chelsea and are better equipped to create that turnaround than Chelsea. So they won, pretty tough Merseyside derby last game. So maybe that can be a catalyst to a lot of things. It's probably a good time to play Newcastle. They've been pretty poor. They haven't been, they've been dropping a lot of points essentially in the last 5 or 6 games. So it's not the Newcastle from a couple of months back. And
Newcastle only has 1 loss in 21 games.
Yeah, but they've dropped a lot of points. Like the wins aren't really coming.
11 draws.
Yeah, especially if you see the last 5 or 6 games. There's been a lot of draws in those. Yeah, they have 1 win in 5.
1 win in 5. All right.
Yeah, so probably a decent time for Liverpool. I mean, to be fair, like Liverpool for this last win also had an even worse run where they were just losing. But if things are falling in place, Van Dijk is back. Some of the forward players are back. Gakpo got a goal, which should give him some confidence.
Yeah.
Salah got a very typical Salah counter-attacking goal, which should give him some confidence. So, I can see Liverpool winning this one. It's just that Newcastle are by far the best team in the league defensively. So it's gonna be like Liverpool's forward players will have to be, at their best and not leave a lot of opportunities.
What do you think about this kid from Liverpool, Bissett? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, he's probably been the best player this season. Low-key. Yeah. And it's probably the kind of player that they needed. We're talking about that energy in midfield that was missing. He's come in and he seems to be, he's going under the radar for a while, but now I think people are wising up to the fact that he's the guy who's making a lot of impact there. I like the look of him. It's too early to say if he's the real deal, but I think early doors it's a pretty promising player.
Does it piss you off to see like a team have a player in their youth system or wherever they got him from? Like that's the exact player that you needed, and they didn't have to pay £100 million, dollars, or euros for him. Like they're like, fuck, how come we didn't have our finger on the pulse of this Spanish player? Was that?
No, I mean you can always think like that, but then I can always.
I always do. It's not healthy.
Yeah, but you never know where this Andrew Santos guy lands up in a year, and we got him for like 12 million. You never know where Chukwuemeka lands up. We got him for 16 million. Cesar Cassidy, 12 million. So we bought some good players really cheap in that midfield area too.
Mm-hmm. I think Chukwuemeka is going to be good, but because people cost more than him that you bought recently, he's not going to get much of a chance.
Yeah, that's always the danger. I think that's the bigger danger than not being able to get these good quality players at low prices. Is the fact that sometimes a high price versus a low price can actually make the difference in game time, which shouldn't be the case.
Right. Yeah. It's like it's high price, and if somebody's like homegrown, like then like that's why I think Mount got a lot more game time than Pulisic most of the time. Yeah, like, because he's like homegrown. But
also Pulisic couldn't stay fit. Like every time we try to give him some chance, he goes and gets injured.
He was on the bench a lot though. There's sometimes that he just come in like late.
Yeah, but like he only is fit for that much amount of time. Like when the manager can't make plans around you, then you are gonna be a bench player. There's been times.
If I was Pulisic and you was telling me this, I was like, what about Reece James? They still make plans around him. He's injured more than me.
Yeah, because there's no backup for Reece James. Pulisic is not that much better than the other guy in his position.
You think he'll be gone in the summer?
Pulisic, yeah. I think we're gonna have like Pulisic, Ziyech, Hudson Odoi. That entire winger position is gonna have.
Shit! I forgot about Hudson. Is he injured or what's?
He's at Leverkusen. He's at Leverkusen on loan.
Oh.
He's not doing much.
I know you've been tracking him. No, nothing.
I'm not even getting a chance to track him because he's on the bench there, which means he's not doing well. So
the guy that Bayern wanted, that you could have sold to Bayern and made some money, you could have ripped off Bayern, bro.
Well, I think at that point, like he had an injury, he had an ACL right after that. So I don't think we would have gotten the same price after that injury.
Still got something.
Yeah. Well, we might still get something. He's still young. But my point is like I think a lot of these players, like Pulisic included, like getting somebody like Mudryk and Madueke, two wingers who are like pure wingers, is definitely threatening somebody like Pulisic's position. And he's anyways going into the last year of his contract. Like if I'm Pulisic, I'll be stupid to renew my contract at Chelsea. Yeah,
when I see like all the grocery shopping that y'all did, I'll be like, I'm just gonna become that stale thing in the fridge. Like I'm gonna watch people open the fridge door and take out things and just overlook me until the fridge is empty. And they might just buy more new shit again. Fuck it. All right, guys. Anybody have anything else that they want to mention? I could say that I'm going to be in Houston at the Secret Group on February 24th. So if anybody in Houston on the 24th, I'm also in Austin again tomorrow, miraculously, at the show. I think it's free. The Armadillo, I think, something like that. Sorry, Lee, I cut you off.
No, I was saying I don't have anything else to add. I'll wait until near the time to let people know what I'm doing when I'm out there. But it's not long now. This time next week, I'll be there.
All right, boom. Cool. Oh, yeah. Anything, Chakravarty, Sawyer's lawyer?
Yeah, at Sawyer's lawyer. And let's see who's Chelsea manager next week.
Hilarious. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Rate our podcast on all the audio platforms, and leave some comments, and we'll engage with you guys back. We love you. Stay good. One. Let me stop this. Boom.